Shalom, y'all. Welcome to Hebraic Awakening. We are doing another chit chat, and I'm just going to briefly go over, one fascinating point of us coming into our biblical new year. And I'm going to go into more depth over on Patreon. So if you're not a member of Patreon, you need to become a member because I'm going to do more in-depth teaching. I've done soul ties. I've done prayer versus intercession. No, I put that on the regular Hebraic Awakening channel, but I'm going to do prophecy versus prediction. That's coming up next. But first, we need to tackle the new year. So I got my notes in the car because I need to get this out. Because we've already entered into it. I know everybody is on different calendars, but for me, we have entered into Nisan. So I think we're on the third day of Nisan when the new moon was sighted. But a very interesting fact that has taken place. And this is stuff that I like to discuss on Patreon because not everybody can hear, right? Not everybody can understand. But if you have been studying your Hebrew and you have been following the biblical calendar, Nisan is a very important month prophetically. We know we have our feast days, our, unleavened bread, Pesach, and first fruits. However, our Hebraic calendar speaks to us. And I thought this was an interesting take. In our fellowship, we usually, I'll send out text messages like last year, and I sent text messages regarding the Passion Week of our Messiah, him getting ready to lay his life down. So we did a whole week, and I was texting them each day what was going on. This year, I want to do leaven, okay, and I'm going to also text them about the historical events that happen in the month of Nisan. So we are going to start with Nisan 1. I know it has already passed, but Nisan 1, the inauguration of the tabernacle first. Now, that is a part of our history. As the first of the barley is ripening, we have that going on. But we also have the inauguration of the tabernacle, right? And I had to look that word up because I wanted to get a good understanding, especially from a political standpoint, a governmental standpoint, what that word meant. And I found that the word is basically setting up a system. Someone coming into office, someone new coming into office, being established. But this is more about a system being set up. And when we look at the tabernacle and we look at what was going on, we can see from our Torah portion especially how Moshe was instructing him and Aaron, and they had two Hebrew brothers to make the plans and to build this tabernacle, which was the heavenly system of the Most High coming down right to the earthly system. And the Most High uses tangible earthly things to teach us what he wants us to understand about the Shamayims or the heaven. So this governmental heavenly system is being established on Nisan 1, right? But what I find fascinating is on Nisan 2, Trump, enacts his system. Trump enacts his system, and he goes live, right, and telling everyone how he is going to set up this system of tariffs. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that's not my point. My point is you can see the battle of the governments. And when you are of faith, you should always be a step ahead of the enemy. Because I was like, nah, that is not a coincidence that system, that governmental system that Trump is trying to set up was enacted after our inauguration. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And I was like, So basically, we need to always be a step ahead as we are entering into our new month. If you are not following entering into your new month and you just happen to get to Pesach, you need to really change the way you think. Like, it's time to mature. You know, I know when you are a babe coming into faith, you know what I'm saying? You don't understand all of that. But after 5 years, you need to understand the biblical calendar. You need to sit down and you need to study. And I already have a video on the biblical calendar. I may remember to put it in the description, but you need to study. You need to get with an assembly, a congregation, you know, somebody to help you to understand Rosh Kodesh and the importance of it. All right, the tabernacle, the system is established. I'm reading from my notes. And this month is also about speaking, right? Because Trump is speaking his system. He's just not showing you a piece of paper where he wrote it down. He is speaking, right? And this is also the month that the kings, the years of the kings is recorded. So he is, and I'm not calling him a king. I keep trying to tell people we don't vote kings in over here in the West. So I don't know why we vote. Well, we correlate voting to being evil. I'm trying to understand that, but it's because we do not understand Hebraically what voting or establishing a king in Israel is different from voting for a president. I'm like, it's two totally different things. But anyway, we are supposed to speak. Why? Because Passover requires us to retell the events to our children. And I said that most of us is missing that. Like, we just in rituals. And then one person, I read his post and he said that he was alarmed that at a Passover from a child that has supposedly been raised in the faith, that the child did not know what Passover was about. I was like, and he asked the child, and the child said they don't know. That is terrible. And I think that we get so caught up in the way we look, the meal we eating. Now we doing line dances. You know, we coming up with dances. And the children don't know nothing. You have dropped the ball. Just go sit down. Just go sit down. You need to do Passover again in the second month. You need to retry it because you done failed. And so this is about speaking. Moshe spoke to Pharaoh. The Most High told Moshe that he would be an Elohim to Pharaoh, and he had to speak the decree. He couldn't just, write it and give it to Moshe on a piece of paper. He had to speak it and bring that heavenly judgment and that heavenly kingdom down to the territory that they were in, so that Pharaoh can know that an Elohim greater than he has spoken. This is such a prophetic time for you to make declarations into your new month and actually speak what it is that the Most High is telling you and your family. But if you're not sitting at his feet, you're not listening, you don't know nothing about Rosh Kodesh, what did Messiah say? He said, you don't have nothing because you don't ask for it. And then when you ask the wrong thing. You don't even understand what to ask for. That's in my prayer versus intercession teaching. But we need to understand that speaking into Rosh Kodesh and understanding our prophetic month, the whole month is about salvation. This is how we battle our faith, our mouth, understanding Torah, the commands, the judgments, speaking. The flood waters receded from the earth during this time on Nisan 1. So what do flood waters represent? Well, that represents judgment. So judgment receded. It eased up, right? The harsh judgments began to ease. Recede from a governmental standpoint is someone that has to undo an action that was previously taken. And we see the Most High receding his judgment. He didn't go back on his word. He receded it. There's a difference, right? And because the earth had been purified now from that particular sin that has soaked the earth with blood, innocent blood, he just sent judgment. So this is a time of miracle, judgments, speaking. And as I and my husband, we told our fellowship, this is a time to watch, to discern, right? To anticipate, to speak, to be obedient, and to see the miracles. And when you look at Moshe and Aaron, that's exactly what was happening. This Passover is a night of watching. That's what it says. This is a night of watching, and not just looking at something, but raha, to discern, to watch with discernment so that you can understand what is going on. So Passover, I like to have a good time. I'm the hostess with the mostest. Okay, I love a good time. I love to host and to make my guests feel good. However, Pesach is not a solemn assembly. I'm not telling you to be sad, but it's so important, and especially to hear how your whole year, your feast day calendar, ecclesiastical year is going to go. You need to be watching, right? You need to be anticipating. You need to be discerning. You need to be speaking, to be obedient, so that miracle. And a miracle is nothing more than the Most High bypassing nature and the set of order that he has established. He's bypassing it to bring judgment. And that's exactly what he did with Pharaoh. He bypassed all of that. This is the order, everything. He bypassed it to bring forth judgment, a miracle. So I hope this little bit of information has really, really inspired you to get to speaking, to get to understanding what is going on in your new year, right? And then, on Nisan 7, I'm going to text our fellowship, and we are going to understand what happened in history on Nisan 7 and what prophetic declarations we can get from Nisan 7. You know what I'm saying? So I have the dates, the historical data for our fellowship, and I hope that you are fellowshipping with someone who can pick up on that historical data. If not, you need to pray about finding that particular fellowship that can help you to understand the Hebraic months. If you want to fellowship with us, you're more than welcome. Please hit me up. I'll leave my email down below. But, we don't beg for people to come over. We really don't. We like to keep our fellowship nice and small because we notice that people are looking for entertainment. They're not looking to study. They want to be entertained. And honey, my husband and I, we don't have time for that. Okay? We're trying to learn Torah. We're trying to understand the prophetic word for each month. What is the Most High saying in our feast days, and how we can apply Torah to our lives in 2025. That's what we're about. We're not about the entertainment. All right? But you're more than welcome to fellowship with us online if that's what you want to do. All right, y'all. Until the next video. Shalom, everyone.